Before we get started today, I have just a quick word of warning for you. This is a 2-drink minimum video. That's because I'm using a new setup and I'm having some autofocus issues. So if you have at least 2 drinks, you won't notice the autofocus problems. If you have at least 4 drinks, you're going to think this is a really good video. And if you have at least 6 drinks before watching the video, you're going to start a Twitter campaign to get me to direct The Mandalorian Season 3. So, have 6 drinks. This is the way. Once again, it's time for the most wonderful time of the year, and of course, the most wonderful time for a beer. Even 2020 couldn't keep down the 12 beers of Christmas. This year for the 12 beers, we're going to try something just a little bit different. Most craft brewers don't have a nationwide, much less worldwide distribution network. So if I make recommendations of beers for you to drink, you probably can't find most of them. So this year instead, we're going to try something just a little bit different, because unless we want to drink Stone or Sierra Nevada, New Belgium, or Deschutes every year for the 12 beers, and to be fair, those would be great beers to drink, we're going to have to diversify a little bit and look a little bit more locally. But speaking of Deschutes, right now, today, I am drinking the 2015 Jubel, which is a fantastic beer. I have one more left in the back of my beer refrigerator. I'm saving that for maybe 2025. This year, the theme for the 12 beers of Christmas is the 12 beers of buying a house. Why, you ask? Well, I'm a realtor, so I'm going to take you through 12 phases of buying a house, and we're going to match a beer to each phase. And I'll be giving you the specific category or a prompt as to what type of beer to choose for that particular phase. Today, I will be telling you the 12 beers that I'll be drinking during the 12 beers of Christmas, but I'm not going to tell you what the phases are. We're just going to talk about the prompts or the categories of beer, and then during the actual 12 beers, starting December 25th, I will run through why I ask you to select that particular beer. For the first beer of Christmas, pick a low-calorie beer. Now, I'm not talking about something like Michelob Ultra. Please don't, well, I mean, I guess you could if that's what you would like to drink, but I'm not drinking Michelob Ultra. There are a lot of great craft beers out there that make low calories, especially low-calorie IPAs. That seems to be a pretty popular category. I'll be drinking Solo from Goose Island Brewing. It is a low-calorie IPA. It's got 98 calories and comes in at 3% alcohol. So find your low-calorie beer, and we'll see you on December 25th to start off the list. For the second beer of Christmas, choose a local beer. Something from right there in the city where you live or the nearest city that has a brewery. For me, I am having 4 Drunk Monks from Brewery LBK right here in Lubbock, Texas. It is so local. Brewery LBK, this is the only place you can get it. You can only buy it in Lubbock. They don't can it, they don't bottle it. It's only on draft. So I went to a local store that puts them in crowlers, 16-ounce cans, and in fact, there's no markings on it whatsoever. The category for the third beer of Christmas is size. I want you to go buy a beer that is too big for you to drink by yourself. That might be a 3-liter Magnum, it might be a 40, or if you're a lightweight, it might just be a 16-ounce can of beer. Whatever the case may be, buy something that is too big for you to drink by yourself. Or maybe, as my wife would tell me, so big that you should not drink it all by yourself. For me, I've selected a 1.5-liter bottle of Anchor Brewing's 2020 Christmas Ale. They come out with a slightly different version every year. They're always fantastic, and I found it in the 1.5-liter Magnum. So that's what I'll be drinking, assuming my wife lets me drink it all by myself, which is probably not going to happen. The fourth beer of Christmas is not going to be fun. I want you to pick something that you think will be awful. Something that will be an absolute punishment to drink. For my wife Lisa, I'm thinking any IPA. Even a light IPA or pale ale. She will hate that. For my friend Magnus, I'm thinking blueberry Zima. That would be probably the worst thing you could do to him, is give him a blueberry Zima. For me, I wanted to pick Schlitz malt liquor. That just seemed like the worst thing I could possibly drink.
Sometimes the guy's got to ride the bull. Am I right? Later, Skater.
Unfortunately, I couldn't find them in Lubbock. So I went to the grocery store, into the beer store, and to Walmart, and I finally came across something that looked absolutely horrendous. Hurricane from Anheuser-Busch. It's a malt liquor, comes in a 40. It is the cheapest beer that Walmart had. This should be torture. Okay, I promise. No more punishment beers. From here on out, it's all good beers, starting with the 5th beer of Christmas, which should be a lot of fun for you and maybe for some friends or family if you want to allow them to participate. The 5th beer of Christmas, for that, I want you to go buy a sampler pack from one of the breweries that you like. I selected the Sampler from Sierra Nevada. It has 4 different beers in it. Their Pale Ale, their 40th Hopiversary Special, Hop Bullet, and Torpedo. The 6th beer of Christmas should be an easy one for you. Buy something that's just sort of a middle-of-the-road beer. Not too expensive, not too cheap, not too strong, not too plain, just something that's a nice middle-of-the-road beer. And for that, I selected New Belgium's Fat Tire. This is a nice amber beer, middle-of-the-road price-wise, middle-of-the-road flavor-wise, middle-of-the-road alcohol content-wise, just a good all-around beer. The 7th beer of Christmas is going to require you to do just a little bit of research. I want you to buy a beer from a brewery that was purchased by another brewery. So you've got something like Duval, owns Boulevard, along with several others, owns Boulevard in Kansas and Ommegang in New York. And then, of course, there's AB InBev, which owns so many breweries that I can't list them all here today. I went with a smaller conglomerate, if you can even call it a conglomerate, and it's not quite local, but it's fairly local. It's close to home. It's within driving distance. I went with Prairie Artisan Ales Okie. Now, Prairie Artisan Ales was purchased, their brewery was purchased by Krebs Brewing a few years ago, and so that's the one I'm going with. A beer from a brewery that was purchased by another brewery. The 8th beer of Christmas also requires just a little bit of research, not too much though, and it'll be fun research because you get to do this research at the beer store. For the 8th beer of Christmas, pick up a can of beer or bottle of beer that has a smiling face on it or says something happy on it, and to you, the word beer may be enough to mark that as saying something happy, or just a beer that makes you happy. For the 8th beer of Christmas, I selected Cano Bliss from Oscar Blues in Colorado. This is actually Cano Bliss Resinous. I've had the regular Cano Bliss before many times. I pick one of those up fairly often, but this is the first time I've seen the Cano Bliss Resinous, and I'm really looking forward to having this. For the 9th beer of Christmas, you're going to need to enlist the help of a friend or family member or possibly a random stranger. I want you to send someone to the beer store to pick up a can or bottle or 6-pack, whatever the case may be, of beer for you. Put it in, not tell you what it is, put it in a brown paper bag, stick it in the refrigerator, and on the night of the 9th beer of Christmas, you will open it for a big surprise. They might get you something tasty. They might get you something terrible. You don't know. You don't know what it's going to be. It's a mystery beer. For me, I'm having a different type of mystery beer. When I was digging to the back of the beer refrigerator to pick up that Jubal from 2015, I found this. No label, nothing on the top. It's the plain gold tops that I used to cap beer with when I brewed. It's the type of bottles I used when I used to brew beer, and it's got a lot of sediment in the bottle, so I know this is a home brew. I have no idea what this is. I'm going to open it on the 9th beer of Christmas and drink it right in front of you. We'll see how that goes. It could be fantastic. It could be awful. It's been 5 years since I last brewed a beer. This was not the last beer I brewed because the last beer I brewed was very dark, and I can see light coming through this one. No idea. We'll find out together. For the 10th beer of Christmas, we're going to follow a pattern similar to the 8th beer of Christmas because it's based on the artwork on the beer's label. I want you to find a beer that has someone walking on the label, or maybe just shows legs or feet. So Yeti would be a great example from Great Divide with a walking Yeti on the front, or anything from Clown Shoes, because there's a pair of shoes on every single beer. So pick something with someone walking or that shows someone's legs or feet. Oh, for me, I guess I should tell you what I'm drinking. I am drinking Puffed Daddy from 903 Brewers. I liked it because it has the Stay Puffed Marshmallow Man on the cover with his feet and legs. And also, I am really looking forward to the new Ghostbusters reboot, so this one called out to me. The 11th beer of Christmas means it's time to celebrate. I know you think we're celebrating a day early, but we're not. We're celebrating at the right time. It's time to celebrate. So I want you to pick a beer that's something a little special. Maybe a little pricier, maybe a little bolder, bigger, something that you would save for a special occasion. I've selected Bigger Badder Baptista from Epic Brewing in Colorado. I love the Baptista series. Every one of them is something special, and this is the first time I'd seen this rare release or rare edition. So this is what I'm having to celebrate during the 11th beer of Christmas. The 12th beer of Christmas will be an easy one. Pick your favorite beer. Whatever your favorite beer is, pick that one and drink that one for the 12th beer of Christmas. Think of it this way. If you were stuck on a desert island and could only take one beer with you, first of all, I guess the professor's stuck on the desert island with you also because somehow you have refrigeration on the desert island. But if you're stuck on a desert island and you can only take one beer with you, what would that beer be that you would drink day and night for forever? For me, it's Deschutes Black Butte Porter. This is a household favorite. I love it. Lisa loves it. It's fantastic. If I could only have one beer for the rest of my life, it would be this one. So pick your favorite beer for the 12th beer of Christmas. And that's it. The 12 beers of Christmas 2020. Go out and grab your 12. I'll grab my 12. Everybody will grab their 12 beers of Christmas and we'll enjoy them together starting December 25th when we go through the 12 beers of buying a house. See you on Christmas Day.